podcast.
What's up? Welcome back.
Today is going to be a sticky topic.
It's not sticky.
It's not sticky?
No, not at all. It's not sticky. We definitely should be talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of crazy.
It is crazy.
Like what life has turned into, I guess.
It's kind of crazy what adults, I guess, and not all of them, but it's a crazy what adults have put up with in the years, because I remember being little and seeing things like this, and it was not a big deal, and it's gotten nothing but worse.
So we're going to go ahead and tell you what we're talking about. But before, we want to say, go ahead and follow us on all our social media, Honestly Podcast, with 2 T's at the end. On Instagram, my dad was making fun of us saying, what the T's at? 2 T's and honestly? I'm like, no. 2 T's at the end of podcast on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a Facebook page, too. So it's Honestly Podcast. And our Twitter is just ziniaandzoriadrake, but that is basically Honestly Podcast Twitter. And then our personal pages, so Zoria_Lene, Zinia's Instagram,
Zinia_Lachey.
and then our joint Instagram, ziniaandzoriadrake, like the letter N, ziniaandzoriadrake.
Right.
So that's all our social media, and also go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Our podcast is streamed on, I'm going to say all platforms right now. Definitely on Spotify. That's where most people
You
get it.
can pretty much find us in wherever you get your podcast from. You can find us at. I know it's not on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah,
yet.
not yet. It's like it's a progress as we keep posting.
But you can always find it here on YouTube.
Yes, always on YouTube. Definitely on Spotify. And like I said, I think everybody has Spotify just about.
Yep.
But everybody has YouTube definitely. So and then subscribe to our lifestyle channel too.
We're getting consistent on everything. We're trying our best. I should be posting on everything today. She already mentioned to follow us on our Instagrams. But honestly, podcasts, we want to start at least posting a little snippet of the episode that's going to be coming out either Wednesday or a little bit before Wednesday, so you can get a little bit of a sneak peek of what we're going to be talking about. But now we will tell you.
So before we get right into the topic, me and Zania just had a birthday.
Woo!
And if our 3 listeners know, we didn't post last week on Honestly.
Yeah.
And we just took that time to regroup. We posted on our lifestyle channel, so we were still posting. We just didn't film a podcast.
Yeah.
But we turned 22, as we said in the last video.
Yes.
So we're officially women.
Well, I feel like once you kind of surpass 21, because like 21 is like
I still felt like I was still like, I mean, 22 is still young, but
yeah, but like the way I see it is 16 you get your driver's license, you can drive. 18 you graduate, you're calling yourself an adult now, or they're calling you an adult now, you don't really feel like it. 21 it's like, okay, I can drink,
like she's in between.
Yeah,
like, I feel like it's just like an in between age.
Yeah, I can show my ID and be like, give me my wine,
like, and it means nothing. Like when they check your ID, it's like, yeah, I'm like right at the age.
Yeah, and
like
then
I'm right at it.
22 is kind of like, all right, sis,
what you doing with your
life?
The
next milestone.
22 is when most people graduate college.
Right. Oh, I didn't realize that. But next milestone is usually, it is being able to rent a car.
25.
And then after that, you're in it.
Yeah,
you're a whole adult.
And I'm steady looking for a husband. And again, that kind of loops into what we're going to talk about today. So becoming women, the things that we care about, especially being Christian women, and then just living in today's culture. Something way different.
So, what we're going to be talking about, and it kind of stemmed from the new WAP.
I think it's WAP.
WAP
with
video.
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
And let me say, if you haven't seen it, don't watch it. Because if you have young, impressionable eyes, you will be impressed. But I was not. I was very disappointed from the beginning. Like, as soon as the video started, it was like, I know exactly what's about to go down. Nasty.
Nothing but sexual exploitation, degrading
of women.
And it's crazy because
it's women doing it.
I know the culture is always attacking men, or men and Christian women that say no, we're not gonna we're not gonna glorify these things. But, like it's not cute. It's not. But when other people say it, when Christian women or women in general don't agree, or men, They're slut shaming.
Mm-hmm.
They are not inclusive.
And let's break down slut shaming. And by all means, it is not okay to sit and criticize and just be mean to someone about their lifestyle. But what are things that should be shameful? Mm-hmm. Is it okay to glorify it? Because it's like one extreme to another. It's extreme to make someone feel bad, but it's also extreme to make somebody feel comfortable within their sin. Mm-hmm. I know as a society, we need to look at stuff and say, okay, these are the things that are acceptable, and these are the things that are not.
Well, we've lost our morals because I think our morals are turning into, and the Bible says that this is going to happen. Everything in the end is going to be.
I don't know why I'm so sure.
I know everything good toward the end of time. Mm-hmm. Everything good will be considered bad, and everything bad will be considered good. Yeah. And so I have always taken a stance of, if the majority of people are doing it, or if the majority of people agree, especially in this time, then I'm almost likely to be like, well, I'm going to research the opposite. Mm-hmm. Because half of the time, like 99% of the time, that's the bad thing. Yeah. And they're making it seem good. So in the video, like I said,
when it first comes on, there are statues of naked women.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was Cardi and Megan.
It was?
Yeah.
I guess you could say that, but legs wide open.
Yeah, just legs open.
And their backs are against each other. Like, I don't understand why feminist has become some part of lesbian.
Well, no, just
being a lesbian. It's kind of like...
Well, it's just sexuality in general.
Yeah, it's like they were like kind of acting like they were tongue kissing when they were laying on the ground. And I'm realizing that a lot of even the YouTubers and other influencers, it's okay to kiss your best friend, your girl best friend. Yeah. It's okay to grope and hug.
Like, be close to each other. You will never find a picture of me and Zania all up on each other, like close, super close, like faces close. We've taken pictures before, and like we get like by mistake, not on purpose, but we do something weird, and I'm like, are we dating or something?
I know, it's kind of weird. Like, we're sisters. Like, we're not. You're not my girlfriend.
Yes.
You're not my mistress.
Yeah. And like, there's so many pictures. Like, I mean, I know this has been happening for years, even before now, but it's just, a peak is arising. I feel like it's probably gonna get worse.
I was even thinking about it. And that's why in the beginning I said that this has been going on for so long that it's so crazy that I was young, but there wasn't someone older than me that said this is bad. Because like I don't know, I'm not going to go into the whole sex trafficking thing with children, but they're telling you that they groom you from a young age to get you okay with things like this happening.
We're desensitized.
And I was thinking back to our childhood, and I was like, I remember just singing my songs by the P girls, the Pussy girls.
The Pussycat Dolls?
The Pussycat Dolls. And I was like, I remember my Terrence, our brother, he was like, what's the name of the band, Sonia? And I was like, Pussycat Dolls. And they were laughing. They thought it was so funny. And I did not understand why. I was like, what do you mean that's their name? Yeah. And now that I'm older, I'm like, they literally had us saying Pussycat Dolls.
Like, it's so crazy.
And I was like, first off, they named a band, a mainstream band, Pussycat Dolls.
Yeah. And I would like to say, I've always kind of noticed this, but nobody really watches music videos anymore, I think. Yeah. But watch a music video, like, if you know the song beforehand, almost all the time the music video has literally nothing to do with the song.
Even the performances.
And it might relate just a little bit, but there's always a bigger meaning. Oh, yes. And usually it's satanic, demonic in some kind of way.
But we really want to talk about what it means to be a Christian woman. What real
women do.
Yeah, and not necessarily real feminism, but just being a real... Okay, I don't want to be
I've heard a lot of people say that feminism has changed and it's turned into what you see now, because I would never call myself a feminist. Well, I've never called myself
for a while. When I went through my I Love Beyonce stage. I'm so glad we're out of that. Yeah. But she came out with a documentary. I can't remember what it's called, but it was for what I believe her best album before everything went to poo. She was talking, and there was a segment in it where she was saying that I am a feminist. Like, I have a all girls band and this and that, and she dressed it up so pretty. And I was like, and at the time I wanted to be a singer. So I was like, when I'm a singer, I'm going to have an all girls band and I'm going to sing girl songs, and I'm a feminist. Like, I'm a feminist.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and I figured out what feminist meant, because in what I guess the basis of it, way back, if we want to go back in history, when they were fighting for rights, when they were bringing their men home, when they were actually homemakers, that was considered feminism back then. And I wonder when it like took a left turn to feminism is also taking off your clothes.
Well, I feel like feminism today, modern day feminism, is more of sexuality. And even though they like to say that, we respect the working, we are like a mom that wants to stay home, and they're really talking about moms that work. Yeah. Moms that split their time with their kids and being in the workforce like men do. It's about upping men. It's really, to me, it feels like they want to oppress men. They don't want them to be on top. I went to go work at a different location for my job, and one of the girls that I met there, she was telling me she had abbreviated her name, which, whatever, no big deal. This is not bragging on her at all. But I started asking her, I was like, okay, so what does it mean? Like, why did you do that? And she said, well, she thinks it's like more, I guess, quote unquote professional. And at first I was a little confused, but she was really saying, she said, well, actually, like, I feel like my name is such a girl's name.
Really? Oh, you don't want to say it? Okay.
And she was like, I feel like it's not really respected in what I want to do. I was so confused. But the name that she changed it to was kind of aggressive. And she said, yeah, especially with the industry being dominated by men already. Yeah. Like when they see my name on that application, then it's going to be more likely to look at, because it doesn't sound like a woman's name. Now, I thought that was crazy. And I didn't say anything to her. I was like, well, first of all,
it's your name.
It's your name. And it was not ghetto. It wasn't like out of this world. It was a regular name. Yeah. It was just completely regular. Yeah. And to her, like, if she listens, I told her about a podcast. This is no shade or anything. It's just an example. But for me, equality is what they're always screaming. If I can't get a job because of my name,
Before you see
me, if I can't get a job, or if I feel like I have to change my name to sound like something else, then that's not true equality. Yeah. That I actually will feel more, I guess, oppressed to have to do that. And I think that you're putting that on yourself, because I don't believe you're oppressing yourself. Yeah. My name, I think, is more out there than her name was.
She told herself no before they did.
Yeah. And so I thought that was kind of weird. And it kind of made me feel almost like there was a hint of insecurity behind it too. Yeah. And I was thinking, like, she was a photographer or something, or that's what she wanted to do. And I'm like, if you are good, if you perfect your craft and you do what you're supposed to do, even if they do turn you away, if you work hard, like, create your own company. Yeah. Do it yourself.
And like, for a while, I didn't like my name, because our names, they're different. And I used to think, oh, my name is so ghetto. And I mean, right now that I'm older, I really like my name. I like my full name. Yeah, me too. And I like that I'm the only one. And I'm sure that, I'm the only one. I haven't met anybody who has my name that pronounces it just the same. And I take pride in it. It's just like, this is my name, and like, when you see my name, you know that's me. Yeah.
And like, it's not widely popular.
It kind of leaves my mark everywhere I go, because I know that I'm unforgettable. Yeah. Because as soon as you see it, you're gonna be like, I've only known one Zania. Yeah. And that's her. It's gotta be her, and it is me, because I'm the only one.
You might have like some Hispanics that might say it a little differently. They may say it a little
different. But even I've never had trouble with jobs, and if I did,
I didn't notice it wasn't God's plan for me.
Yeah, I never noticed that they didn't want me because of my name. But even that, I didn't let my name be what they saw of me only. I made sure I had a good resume, and I showed my face. I talked to them in person, because I wanted the job rather than letting them dictate the answer. But because to me, the answer is yes. So I'm going to make sure that I convince you to hire me.
But to bring it back to the topic, I'm just like, feminism in general today is, like I said, it's to be better than men, I guess, as if they're better than us. And to go back, the topic was how to be, or what it means to be a Christian woman. To me, I'm going to say my definition. Okay. being a Christian woman or a woman in general has nothing to do with being vulgar, showing my body, being a person that's like, well, I'm a woman, like I am woman. Like what people say, that's idolizing.
Yeah.
And the Bible is very clear about it. I'm pretty sure it's one of the commandments. Do not idolize. And I feel like we idolize women, we idolize celebrities, and the majority of celebrities are for this agenda.
Yeah.
And it's really sad to see. And so a Christian woman to me is modest. A Christian or a woman in general. I'm gonna keep Christian out of it just for right now.
See, I forgot who I was listening to. But they said when you take all the mystery out of a woman, because I think that's what makes somebody so grand. They're kind of mysterious. Like you don't know too much about them, and it makes you want to go and
figure it out. Yeah, like modesty is sexy.
Yeah, and she was pretty much saying like if you're showing them everything they need to know when they first see you, what's the point in talking to you?
Yeah,
they don't want to talk to you. But I don't know if sorry.
I believe that a Christian woman is modest, or a woman in general is modest. I believe that a woman is graceful and like just the way that she presents herself. Yeah, meek.
And that doesn't mean I let people walk all over me, because I think as a woman you also have to realize when it's okay to speak and when it's okay to just stay quiet, because sometimes things will work themselves out.
Yeah.
So, and me as a woman, I'm learning that now that I don't have to say everything. Some things just show itself in time. And sometimes immediately, I just sit there and I'm like, okay. And even with men, because I believe that men are supposed to lead us, I don't always have to correct and badger, as they say, nag them. I can just say, okay, you know what? I'll say it one time, and I will let life be your lesson.
And I think that is so important to have good examples of this in front of you.
Yeah.
Because we're not saying that we're perfect at all. I'm sure there's people that can say that we nag or something.
Well, see, I can see in past relationships where I failed, because like the last person I talked to, I apologized, even though I felt very hurt by him.
I believe I apologized too.
Yeah, I apologized because he told me that he felt like that I didn't like him anymore. And I understood it, because if I look back, majority of the time I was talking about all the things I didn't like about him. I didn't tell him the things that I did like.
And I want to be able to uplift people. And even though I was annoyed, and obviously those relationships were not for us, God did not ordain those.
There was a lesson in all of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't waiting for an apology from him, nor did I need it, because the relationship was dead. But I understood that I played a part.
Yeah.
And just because you were hurt and you received some sort of backlash for what's going on doesn't mean that I was completely innocent. And I think that's maturity. And even with modern day feminists, it's like it's the man's fault. They make us crazy, which I agree. But
to a certain
extent, there, like I said, there's two extremes. You can go too far left and too far right.
Just like there's an extreme with just hanging out with women in general. Like I think it's so important to have your women's group and have your girls and your little, like your people, your corner. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I'm a feminist.
Yeah.
Like Zania said, there's always an extreme.
Like I'm all for women's rights, but I am not for women over men. I think men should be leading women, and
they're not necessarily over us either.
I wish if men took on the responsibility, the biblical responsibility that they have on earth, assigned by God, to lead women, to protect women. When I look at these rappers, what they're rapping about is not protecting women. If your raps only say, I protect my daughter if somebody does this, or my, not even wife or girlfriend, they don't even talk about that. Yeah. They talk about their children, and I'm gonna do this.
And it's actually, it's really a lie.
It is a lie. I mean, it kind of frustrates me when I don't see a man taking on that responsibility, because it's so important.
Oh, maybe one day we'll make a podcast about real men. Because they're the most attractive
right now,
people.
I am at a point where I don't want to entertain any boys. Like, I want a man. And, like, when I tell people I want a man, it's not just like, oh, I want a man, and that's my man's. No. I want a man.
Yes.
I want a biblical, protecting, God-fearing, woman-loving, accountable, just a man. I want a man.
And I feel like I'm attracted to people that are not afraid to say what needs to be said. Yeah. And people pleasing is one of my biggest pet peeves. Yeah. And I cannot take it. And I know, like, there's there's a difference between knowing when to say something and knowing when not to.
Yeah.
And just being kind of graceful about things. But I have an issue when I talk to you in private about something, and then we go out and we have an opportunity to voice those opinions that we made privately, and you're backtracking.
Yes. Ugh.
That makes me like, I don't even want to associate with you.
And like, I believe men are strong, and like feminists don't like. They can say things that women can't, and I think that's just how it's gonna be, and I'm okay with that. But I would like how you're saying talking to your boyfriend or / husband in the future about something in private, because I want to practice being meek. I want to be able to voice my opinions to my husband, and when we go out in public, he makes them known and says, you know what, we don't like that, we don't stand for that, and kind of speak on behalf of our family and me, and I don't have to jump in front of him and say, no, this and this and this. There's a time and place for everything. I'm sure I'm still going to do it, but to trust him wholeheartedly that he's going to have my back in public, with me there and with me not there as well.
And the same for me.
Yeah.
And I know, Zania, you want to read something really fast, but I'm going to say one more thing.
Okay.
And like I said, feminism, being a woman nowadays, it's just glorified with stripping, twerking, being naked, scandalous, vulgar, all that stuff you would be praised for. And you'll get popular for it.
And if you haven't caught on, that's not a woman.
There you go. That's not being a woman.
That's not being a woman.
And that's not something honorable.
So I want to read you what a woman is.
Well, I'm going to let you read in a second. But like I said, stripping, for example, really fast. It was like a year or two ago. Maybe it was like 3 years ago. I'm not sure. I had a whole argument. I had a whole argument with the guy I was dating at the time, and then it trickled into my job because I was asking people's opinions.
Yeah.
And mistakes made. Because I didn't realize people...
Before she gets into the story, I am learning as I get older to stop arguing with people with the truth. You don't argue facts.
Well, at some point, I was like, this is what I think, and I'm sorry.
And I was like, at some point, one day, and Zori said this to someone that asked her about the Bible, and you have to decide if it's the truth for you. It's like yelling at a brick wall. It's never going to stop being a brick.
If it's going to be words to you, it's just words to you.
Yeah. And I read a quote on Instagram today, or not today, I think a few days ago. And it said, lessons learned in 2020. Don't waste your time arguing or talking to someone who is determined to misunderstand you. And I was like, big facts. Big facts. Because I spent literally the last half of 2019 doing that.
Just listen to the hypocrisy with all of these arguments. If you watch any video about feminism or something, anybody that is for the things that we're against, the hypocrisy is crazy, because they'll always say, well, I support it for that woman's decision. She can do what she wants, but I would never raise my kid to do that. Yeah. But, okay, the conversation that I had, I'm going to try to make it really fast. So I was having a conversation with an ex that I have, and I was talking about how stripping is bad. You should not strip. And like, I was just I don't know how we got on the topic, but I was like, stripping is bad. Like, you should not glorify that at all. I think it was with Cardi B, because Cardi B used to be a stripper. And she, people were praising her when she first hit the scene, saying that she did her thing. She did what she had to do, and now she's making money, and now she's doing this, and I'm like, that is not honorable.
And and I don't know if you heard the scandal. It's not really a scandal. What happened with Cardi B? Not only was she a stripper, but I think they were saying that she drugged men.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that's a whole nother thing.
Do sexual favors and get money, and just horrible things.
Doing what she had to do, apparently. No. Quotations.
What you have to do should never include any sort of violence or manipulation.
Now, I would like to say that me and Zania have fallen on hard times before.
I ain't never strip.
I will never go strip. I would never, even as simple as, there's people that are obsessed with, feet. Take a picture for money. No, I'm not doing that.
I'm not using my body in any way to provide money. And
sexual
let me
favors.
tell you, every single time me and Zoria have fallen on hard times, it has always corrected itself, and we've always had what we needed, whether it was at the last minute or well before. We always got it, and I've just stopped worrying. God is my provider.
Yeah, we have never done anything degrading to make,
and it's not an excuse.
So that's what we were talking about, and I did not see the conversation going the way it went. It's so crazy when people reveal themselves to you. You're like, whoa. I didn't know that was supposed to be said.
Really are.
So we were going back and forth and arguing. I'm like, what are you even saying to me? Like, if you would not be okay with your daughter stripping, then why would you be okay with anybody stripping?
Yes.
If that's not the career path that you would choose for your family, then what are you even saying to me?
Well, you are challenging yourself because you know that it's not good, and you're willing to tell that to your daughter. But
it's people pleasing. That's what it is.
It's people pleasing, and it's kind of a punk move because, like I said, I believe men are here to protect women.
Yes, not
just your daughter.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's included in
and
women.
A lot of people like to say, and he was saying that, well, my family, like, I wouldn't do that for my family. Like, I care about the people close to me. And that was another issue for me because I want a man that loves people.
Well, that's a man.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I get in my feelings about this. When I hear quote unquote men say that, you look like a boy to me. And it's just like, boys don't say that.
Yeah.
Men protect everyone.
Yes.
Men, women, children.
Our men and women that are fighting.
Animals.
Yeah, our men and women that fight for America.
Those
on
are
the front lines.
Men.
Those are men and women. So, and they're protecting everyone.
Yeah.
So, I was just like baffled, and we ended up arguing about this for like hours. I mean, that's how you know the person's not the one. Like when you argue about stripping,
cut and dry.
Like literally, we would argue about everything. I was like, we were so misaligned. It was crazy. So we argued about that, and I went to work, and I was just trying to get people's opinions about the argument. Still not expecting, like I said, I'm a fool. Still not expecting people to disagree with me. So,
like this is simple, huh?
Yeah, so I'm talking about it at work.
1 + 1 is 2, huh?
And I made a mistake because you never know who you're talking to. So that's why we want to approach things with grace.
Yes.
Turns out I worked with some former strippers.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. I did not know that.
And I didn't talk to her like specifically about it. I asked one person, and he was Christian like me, and he agreed with me. And I guess the conversation just got passed around, like, so we're just talking about stripping or something like that.
Yeah.
And she approached me, and she said, hey, so I hear you're talking about strippers. Like, I used to be a stripper. And I was like, didn't know that.
Thanks for letting me know.
And she was like, and I just want to say, like, that is nothing wrong with that lifestyle. Like, I did what I had to do. I had to provide, and I'm not a hoe. I'm not, like, I wasn't spreading my legs for anybody, but I did what I had to do. And I was like, now I have to be careful. Yeah. Because now there's...
Well, that's where the grace comes in.
There's personal experience involved.
But remember, with grace comes truth.
So I told her, I said, well, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not trying to degrade you or anything, but my stance doesn't change. I don't believe that that's something that anybody has to do. Yeah. McDonald's is hiring 24/7.
Every day, baby. So is Burger King.
So I was like,
it's easy money. And I went through a phase where I was thinking about easy money is usually corrupt money.
Well, you want to think about
devil's work.
The saying, making an honest living. Yes. What does that mean?
Yes. Because I was like stripping. I was thinking about stripping and selling drugs. And those are things that I can start today. Yeah. All I got to do is buy a couple grams and sell it, flip it. Sell it for about double how much I paid for it, and I'm in the game. Yeah. And the money will probably be there immediately. Yeah.
And not to mention, again, and I'm not attacking anyone, but the majority of the time, the people that fall into this, they're not upstanding moral people.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Not all of them. I'm saying not all of them. Yeah. Like, they live their life. Yeah. They do what they want to do. Like, they don't necessarily have boundaries that I know of.
Well, I would call them, because there are some people who are far gone that just don't care. But I think there are some people who get into it that are just lukewarm Christians. They call themselves Christians and they sound good. Yeah. But again,
she was telling me that she was like, I'm Christian too. I'm pretty. She said I believe in God, but I don't think she would. If she did go to church, a lot of the girls I work with, they were like, yeah, I go to church every Sunday, but that's just because that's what they do.
I think there's different types. I think there's somebody who truly believes that this is the only way, and there just hasn't been someone who told them that there's something different.
I would respect somebody that would say, hey, I did this is my past, and I do not condone it. I'm not going to encourage anybody to do that.
This is why podcasts like this are important, because that's the voice you need to hear that says, hey, McDonald's is hiring.
Because you're trying to make quick, easy money.
Right.
And that's why you would go into something like
McDonald's
that.
is quick, easy money.
Well, you gotta wait for the check to come through.
True, but if you put in them hours, baby, and I think they pay weekly.
You'll be rolling the dough before you know it.
I heard that the highest paying fast food restaurant. But like I said, I think there's 3 different types. I think somebody who knows better and knows what they're doing. Someone who is lukewarm and they're in that people pleasing phase where they're like, well, it's okay, I just shake a little booty to get some money, but I go back to my Christian lifestyle. And then I think there's someone who just doesn't know any better, and I think that's the saddest.
And that's what my whole argument was with the guy, my ex. I was telling him that it's not fair that we know the difference. Mm-hmm. It's not fair that you get to use the cop out of, well,
and God holds
I'm
you
not
accountable.
I'm not telling you to do it. Like, you should be able to determine, like people say with music, little girls shouldn't be listening to my music because it's vulgar. Yeah. I'm like, how about you don't make vulgar music?
Well, see, the Bible says that the truth compels you. Mm-hmm. So, like Zori said, it's not fair that we get to hold on to this truth as if it's bondage.
Well, as if it's just widely known.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, there's kids listening to Cardi B and thinking that, hey, I should just become a stripper like Cardi B did. She make all this money.
I'm
look
not
what
gonna
she's
even
doing.
lie. I went through a phase before, because again, I think there's you don't know any better, then you know, and then you're people pleasing, and then you got to go into, okay, I know, and I'm gonna operate in that know.
Yes, I'm gonna stand alone.
In my people pleasing phase, I was like, I could be a stripper. I could totally do it. I could totally do this. I could drive to Atlanta tomorrow, come back with bags.
Yeah.
And it'll be simple. And it's probably true. I could do it.
Yeah.
And I did my research. I was looking at other people doing it. I was looking at stripper vlogs.
I know. Zania went through something.
I was going to be a stripper.
Zania was looking at, like, even, like, sugar daddy.
Yes. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be a stripper. I'm going to go and get me someone with some money.
We're exposing ourselves.
Yes.
Well, actually, Zori's perfect.
But, like, that was my people-pleasing phase. And I could have those conversations that she was having with that girl and say, yeah, I totally get it, girl.
I really considered, like, doing the feet pictures. Because people were getting paid a lot of money to do that.
Yes.
Don't look it up. Don't do it.
And then I had to step into, now you know the truth.
Yeah.
When are you going to start operating in it? And I think that's when the Holy Spirit comes in and he convicts and corrects. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, I know, and I'm pretty much trying to find a loophole.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I mean, I love you, Jesus. Mm-hmm. But the Bible, I don't remember the exact verse, but it says, I think it's worded as, so now that you know the truth, you think that you could go on and just sin
and just live a normal life.
And God pretty much said, no.
That Holy Spirit, the conviction in you is like on another level. Yeah. Like, you got to know what you're stepping into.
But me and Zori, we really want to be that voice for a young person, but even a mid-20s, maybe even early 30s person who needs to hear a voice that is telling the truth. Yeah. Everybody is a liar. Like, when we've kind of stepped into the pandemic and everything that came with it, I was looking at celebrities and YouTubers and all these people, and I'm like, I can't believe how comfortable they are in lying. Mm-hmm. Because, and I knew it, and I might be stretching for some of them, but a few of them, there will be, stay at home, wear a mask, and in the next video, no mask, mm-hmm. or in the next story, getting their nails done, and then that story, getting their lipo done, doing these things, and I'm like, you're telling us to stay at home, and because I know the truth, and I'm not gonna listen to you, like, you don't influence me that much, because they still influence you a little bit. Mm-hmm. For the people who listen to you wholeheartedly, they are in their home barricaded.
Your influence is so much bigger than you think. Yeah. Another podcast, we're gonna talk about the truth about your influence. Yeah. Because everybody has it, whether you have a platform or not. And even with that phase was nailed with the stripping and possibly getting the sugar daddy.
I was about to shake some booty for somebody.
Those things. You know what really kept us from even going that route?
It was
First of all, God, but second of all, we knew what we wanted to do in the future. Yeah. We knew that we wanted to eventually have this platform. Yeah. And we knew that we wanted to be like a face, so like a social media face, whatever you want to call it.
I started thinking about my influence before I had it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't backtrack from this.
Yes. And like, we can obviously be honest about it if that's something that did happen. And we are going to be honest about things that have happened in our life. Mm-hmm. But I said, I cannot.
I can make the decision now.
I don't want to be that Christian that has to address my past about being a stripper.
Yeah.
Because there's a picture of me, like, on a pole somewhere.
Shaking it for somebody.
And it goes viral, and everybody's like, isn't that Zania?
Isn't that Zania Duke?
Isn't that? Wow, I can't believe she used to do that.
I know, that's crazy.
And even though it's a testimony, it almost ruins it for some people.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that are like, well, you're just like me, so I'm not even gonna. But at the same time, it is important for people to know that we have lived a life.
Yeah.
Like, Christians are people. Christians go through things.
Christians struggle with sin.
Christians get mad.
Yes. I mean, we're not... And I think it's important for us not to put ourselves on a pedestal. It's important for us to say those things. Like, that, we don't really write a script. We just start talking. Mm-hmm. And I like it that way because, like, things like the stripping thing, I want to put that in the script.
Yeah.
I would.
It gives you a lot of time to think over things.
It's like, well, I don't really want them to know that about me, but I really kind of want to be naked in front of everyone.
Yeah.
LOL.
No pun intended.
But I want people to see me for who I am. Like, to know who Zania is. Not the polished, stand-up Zania that posts her good pictures. Mm-hmm. You will see that. But I really want you, especially when you come here, to know that we are people. And we are people who are talking to you from a people standpoint.
Yes.
Not from a godly standpoint.
And I feel like even just in life in general, we've had so many people misunderstand us because we are Christians and we're not afraid to say that. But they all of a sudden, when you say you're Christian, it's as if you have never struggled.
Yeah.
You've never lived a life. Nothing's ever happened to you bad because I have decided to move forward. And I think what people are seeing is the joy that God gives you. Like, joy is bigger than happiness.
Yes.
And I wake up every morning and me and Nia are so good at just accepting.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what?
And I think people look at that and they're like, well, they haven't lived. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm like, well, you don't know me.
Yeah.
You don't know the things that have happened to me.
Oh, I'm a wreck. I won't say, I'll give you little doses, but I'm a wreck.
Yes. And it's so important, especially to have private people in your life to open up about. I don't think y'all need to know everything that's ever happened to me, but I do think it's important to be honest.
Yeah, like, I think there's some things you keep private. Like, there's some things I'm not gonna say on the platform. That's something that only my husband's gonna know, or even just me and God. Yeah, like, nobody needs to know all my dirty laundry.
Yes.
But I want you to get a good 2 or 3 baskets full.
So Zania's gonna read what it means to be a woman to get us back on topic.
Right. So I don't know if y'all have ever heard of a Psalms 31 woman, and I went through a phase where I wanted to be a Psalms 31 woman.
Is it Psalms or Proverbs?
It's Proverbs. It's a Proverbs woman.
Proverbs 31.
Sorry, y'all. But I'm just going to read a little snippet. I'm not going to read the whole verse because it is a gem and you'll have to read it on your own time. But
it's long.
If you've ever been in, like, a women's study group or a women's conference or anything relating to that in the Christian faith realm, I'm sure they always bring this up.
And before you read that, I want to say that our mom, I think that she is a Proverbs 31 woman. I mean, she calls herself
the fruits of her hands.
She says the fruits of her hands is like her brand. She's a virtuous woman.
Yes.
Like, I think her slogan, we should probably put this on a t-shirt. I can make that.
Yes.
I can do that. I can make that. She cooks for us. I mean, she's made bread, like, from scratch before.
And, like, a Psalms 31 woman. No, girl. Proverbs. A Proverbs 31 woman.
She knows. She sews. She knits.
Is so powerful. And, like,
well, maybe not knit, crochet.
Me and Zori haven't done it, but if you study the women of the Bible, it is just as good as the men of the Bible. And I really, really want to get into that. And me and Zoria, we are deciding to start a little small group that's kind of flows into this. And I'm so excited to get into it because not only are we going to be helping foster someone else in their faith walk, but we're also going to be fostering ourselves and learning more because it prompts us to be more on top of the study so that we can relay that information to the other people within the group. But what I'm going to read is a verse from Proverbs 31, and it is, she is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all.
That's awesome.
You
surpass them all.
I want to be that. Yeah. And notice in there it says that let me find it. Wow, it's so short. She watches over the affairs of her household. And feminism, modern day feminism, they are trying so hard to get rid of that verse.
Mm-hmm.
A woman takes care of her house. She makes her house a home. A house that isn't a home is literally just an empty space.
Mm-hmm.
You create a space for comfortability where you can take off your armor of God when you get home, to be vulnerable in front of your family, in front of your husband, to say the things that you couldn't say out loud out there, to really sit down and fall to your knees and praise God and go into your private place.
Mm-hmm.
That's a home.
Yeah.
Modern day feminism, they really don't want that, and that's why me and Zoria have come to the conclusion, and we met someone else who said this, that once I stepped into being a Christian, I could not reconcile being Christian and a feminist at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And my eyebrow always kind of goes up a little bit when I see a Christian that is relating closely to feminism.
Yeah.
And I understand it because I can see how the lines can get blurred, but there comes a point where it's going to clash.
Mm-hmm.
Being Christian and being of God never correlates good with being
Feminism.
of the world.
Yeah.
Anything of the world. But that verse was so good. It was such a snippet. That's why I said this whole thing is a gem.
Mm-hmm.
The last part where it says, many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. That is so good. That's so good, because you can do good things,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean that you are the best.
Yes.
You just look like everybody else doing good things.
Yeah.
Be different.
You need to stand out. And how can you stand out if you're blending in with everyone else?
I love this verse. I can read it again. Should I read it again?
No.
But I just posted on ziniaandzoriadrake, our Instagram, I posted a quote that says, dare to be disliked.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, what does that mean? Obviously, I'm not going to go out there and make people not like me. It means you go out there and you say the things that are different. Say something different. Be different. Stand alone. And it's so hard. And even, I've been in so many situations where I was standing by myself. And I always was like, doubt comes in it. Being a Christian doesn't mean you don't have doubts. And I would sit there and cry. And I would just be in my head like, am I doing what's right? Nobody is on my side. And everybody says perception is reality, and that is not true. It is a lie.
I think perception in the sense of everybody has a different way that they see it,
but
there's always a truth.
But they're saying if everybody's saying it, then it's true.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, just because everybody says that Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B are effing it up and doing that little thing on stage, does that mean it's true? Does it mean what they're doing is good? That this is a good look for women? Like, the pedestal of women is Cardi B, Beyonce, and Megan Thee Stallion. And I was like, we can take that back and tell them the truth is Proverbs 31 is a woman. Mm-hmm. And that's what you should be striving for, to surpass them. Surpass the noble acts. Mm-hmm. You can do noble things. But to surpass that, baby, you going somewhere. You reaching for the stars. You going to the moon.
You're crazy. But this is our journey, and I hope that we're a good influence, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Of what women are, and we're becoming women. Like I said, we just turned 22.
Yeah.
But
I'm just looking at the verse, and it says she's clothed with strength and dignity. Dignity.
That's the one.
Ooh,
that's the one.
Let's look at what dignity means real quick. Because me and Zora were talking about it in the car. We were saying, when you find out the meaning of words, they mean so much.
Yeah.
To be able to form a sentence, a coherent sentence that makes sense with the words that you use, it brings a deeper meaning to what you're trying to say. Dignity, the state or quality of being worthy of honor or respect. A sense of pride in oneself, self-respect.
Self-respect.
I
think that's what we're missing, is self-respect. I think everybody wants everyone else to respect them. They want everybody else to accept them. I'm like, what do you think about yourself?
Yeah. Here's another definition. A high or honorable rank of position.
Interesting.
You're telling me I can be where they are in dignity rather than with my clothes off?
Mm-hmm.
I can reach the same amount or even more fame than they have with or without dignity. It's just a lie. And if you know anything about Lucifer, he was woven. He was made of music.
Instruments.
Instrument in heaven. He made heavenly music. Or he didn't make, he was heavenly music in heaven. And when he was down to earth, you don't think he took that with him? I believe that his hand
is in the music industry.
The music industry the most. He's everywhere, but he is really, really in there.
Because music is universal.
Yeah. I mean, universal language.
You don't even need words for a song to be demonic.
Yep.
But we could talk about this all day. But we want you to listen to the rest of our podcast. I'm so funny.
If you don't know what she's talking about,
look, I think we should leave it a mystery. If you know where I got that from,
you know.
Link, put it in the comments down below.
Yeah.
I would keep talking, but I want you to listen to the rest of our podcast.
So, long story short, but don't the image of what a woman is on TV and on the radio and all these people, don't take that to heart. And I promise you, and I was listening to a video
and
yesterday.
We need people like us. We find those people, like Candace Cameron is an awesome example. Kristen and Marcus Johns, the whole Johns family. Like, find those people. Suzanne Hendricks. Look at those people, those influencers, because they are pouring into you. They are giving value.
Even Tamara Housley. She is, in my opinion, she's a woman. I can tell that she takes care of her house, that she provides what she does provide, but she places her family above all. Her job, whatever she's doing, and I don't know her real life.
We need more
but
people.
I'm just seeing what she posts. Yes. If I'm wrong, correct me.
Yes,
but I can see that she is prioritizing the things that are in need to be on the top of the list. You can have multiple people on number one.
Yeah,
you can have God, and then you have your family. You have your work, you have you have your prayer time. Like, you have to organize that in a way that keeps you sane in this world before you get to heaven.
And I just think, like, find those people, because we need more people to combat the voices like Cardi B and Beyonce and and Megan Thee Stallion. Like, we need to combat these people. So, and that's one of the reasons why me and Zania wanted to start our platform. And I also think that's why we waited so long to even start it.
We want to dare to be different. Zori was saying the other day, she wants, not necessarily the controversy, but she likes to say the things that people are like, I'm not gonna say it because everybody else is like on board, and I'm the only one in the comment section like, put some clothes on. What are you doing?
Like, we want to have grace, obviously, but we shouldn't be afraid to say, I disagree.
Well, see, and there is a difference, because Christians, we come in grace and truth.
And love.
But just how, and I had to, like, really come to this realization, these people who believe in worldly things, they have no problem saying it. They say it in the most disrespectful way or the most ridiculous way, and no backlash. But if I took that same energy and posted something that was going against what you said, the dogs are out.
Well, that's not what we're called to do. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Because God didn't call us to be hateful the way that they are.
Right.
And that's why it backfires.
You don't want to become the monster that you're fighting. So I am learning, and I'm sure there's going to be comments that people find in my early days of saying some crazy things. Or not even crazy, and that doesn't mean they weren't true. There just wasn't any grace in it. I'm sure they're going to find it, and they're going to try to flip it and turn it and make me sound like a monster. But I'm telling you now, we are working on our grace. We want to be more graceful and speaking the truth to people. And that's why we want to start the podcast, because rather than fighting in the comments with someone, we can say, you know what? We're going to talk about this in our podcast.
You can, like, truly hear what we
understand, what we mean. Saying. Yeah.
And I'm like Zania said, people are gonna twist and cut and clip and all those things, and I'm ready for it. But it is what it is. I mean, I have to stand by what I say. But like we've said in our very first podcast, our minds could change, growth can happen, honesty, like being honest, like through our growth, and we'll talk about it.
It's a process.
Like I would hope the whole point of our podcast is that there is no hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be honest about our life and things that have happened.
But don't misunderstand that we're saying we're perfect, or we're going to try to portray perfection. We can't do it. It's impossible. I've tried it. It sucks. Yes.
But
it's not fun. And that's why I'm so grateful for Jesus, because he did it for me.
Thank God for Jesus.
Thank God for Jesus.
But I know that was like, we hit a lot of topics on this one, but long story short, we be a woman that is honorable.
Well, just like I said with the difference between a man and a boy, be a woman, not a girl, and seek out a man, not a boy.
Have self-respect. Stand with your shoulders back.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you know what you're worth and you know what God says about
ma'am.
you. And that was one of the issues that I've had with boys and people in general, thinking that they could redefine what God has already defined.
Yes.
And so, and I know I'm not perfect like we said, but I am not going to allow you to talk to me how you want to. There's some things that I'm just not going to tolerate, and I have tolerated so many things.
Yes.
Like, I'm an idiot, I'm the fool, and like, I'm the queen of cutting people off. Like, you know what? I might come back a couple times because I have grace and I'm very forgiving, and that's not a bad thing about myself. But at some point, I'm like, you know what? It's done. Like, I'm not gonna.
You don't care about me.
Yeah.
You don't have to show me too many more times that you could care less about me.
Yes.
I need to show you that I care more about me than you do.
Yes.
And I'm walking away.
And I can be in torture and cry by myself until I'm all healed up with Jesus.
Yes,
but I am not going to fight for a friend. I'm not going to fight for a boyfriend that's not going to fight for me.
It has to be a two-way street.
Especially in relationships like that. Now, I will pray for you. No, we'll fight the good fight with Jesus. And I'm going to have grace, and I'm not going to say anything evil about you. But no, I'm not going to allow myself to keep getting hurt because you don't see the value
in me.
You don't see how precious women are.
I'm just going to say it. Please, ladies, cover yourselves. Cover yourselves. And I understand there's going to be moments where you're not too covered. Just like...
It means they are not nuns.
Yeah.
So...
No, like, when you go to the pool, obviously, you're basically in a bra and panties. I always thought that was so weird that we do that. I wouldn't walk out the house. But there is location. You have to take that in consideration. I wouldn't wear white to an all-black party. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't wear a swimsuit to a suit and tie.
Restaurant.
Mm-hmm. You have to dress for the occasion. Mm-hmm. So I'm not calling you to perfection, but do your best to cover yourself. Men see it. Men, whether you believe it or not, they undress you with their eyes.
It depends on what you want. Do you want boys or men to look at you and see what you're not wearing?
What's the crowd that you're attracting?
Yeah.
Do you want a man or a boy?
Right. Do you want them to look at you and see the things, like to see how not cover up you are? Do you want them to see your body, or do you want them to see your pretty smile? Mm-hmm. Do you want them to see
your personality,
how put together you are? Like, I want a man that's gonna work hard to know me.
Right. I want a man who sees me and says, I have to go and talk to her because I don't know. I don't want a man that looks at me and say, I don't have to say anything because I see it.
Yeah. And they don't have to try hard.
And that's how, I really think that's how you find a man. That's how you get you a husband, because he has to approach you. Mm-hmm. And he approaches you with respect. And when he meets
what? Self-respect is evident.
Yeah. The next man who approaches me, I promise you, is going to be my husband. Because I'm not giving anybody else any of my time. I don't have time for it. I want my husband to look at me, and I'm going to make sure I have myself in a presentable manner that shows that I have respect for myself, that I am clothed in dignity and strength. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. And I can provide for myself until someone walks into my life and takes on that responsibility. Yes. And I will gladly pass on the torch.
Yes. Look, like I said, we could talk about this forever. Yes. But we want you to listen to the rest of our podcast. Our other episodes. So follow us on all of our social media. Honestly Podcast with 2 T's on Instagram. Honestly Podcast on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And then we're streaming everywhere.
Yeah. Just type us in. Honestly Podcast. You should find us.
Your host, ziniaandzoriadrake with the mouth.
Make sure you follow us on all our handles. Everything is going to be in the description of this video. I'm sure we said it about 3 times now. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below. What are your opinions on modern day feminism? What do you think about Cardi B and Miss Megan Thee Stallion?
And what do you think a woman is?
What do you think a woman is? Do you agree that a woman should be clothed in strength, or is clothed in strength and dignity? Mm-hmm. I do. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to have a new one for you every Wednesday. Mm-hmm.
We just took a little break for our birthday. We went to the beach, and we were like, you know what? We're not going to stress it. And like I said, you can always find us somewhere. We're posting somewhere if we're not here. If for some reason we miss a week, we are posting on our lifestyle channel. We're posting on Instagram like almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
We're posting on Facebook. Like, just go check us out.
Just find us. Just click the link.
And we got big things coming, like we always say.
Go ahead and subscribe.
It's only up from here.
Go ahead and hit that follow button. You don't want to miss it. You know you don't.
You don't.
So again, for the 6th time, thank you guys for listening.
Follow us.
And we will talk to you beautiful people next Wednesday.
So remember, be blessed.
And pray often.
We love you.
We love you. Have a good day.
All right.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.